Hi everyone, welcome to today's session. This is session number 1 for us. And as we know, this training is all about SAP S4 HANA EWM, that is Extended Warehouse Management. I'm waiting for another 2 participants. All right, so in next 2 or 3 minutes, we will start our session. And meanwhile, in case uh, any one of you, if you have any question related to SAP career opportunities, syllabus, or maybe any other question, then we can communicate. I believe my voice is clear and screen is being shared.
Yes, it is.
All right, thank you. So, right. So let me take you through, first of all, syllabus, what we are going to cover, right? So you have, I believe all of you have received this syllabus. So all participants enroll for L2 level training. So in
Sir,
L2,
can you hear me, sir?
Yes, Atif, I can hear you.
Okay, sir.
Right, yeah, right. So so all 5 participants are all 5 participants enrolled for L2 level training. So in first 50 sessions, we will be discussing about SAP functionalities, and then after understanding functionalities, we will discuss in detail about SAP projects, different types of projects. It's like a simulation of real-time projects, so that after successful completion of the training, participants can express themselves as 2+ year experience. So syllabus has been designed as per SAP certification and job market. Okay, so right, and during our training, right, so right, so after successful training, because in Amazon, Flipkart, and Reliance, participants can get the opportunity for internship for few days, right? When they are applying for EWM consultant job, if they would like to work as a intern for Amazon, Flipkart, and Reliance, that opportunity is also available. All right, right. So yeah, so let's start our today's session. The agenda of this session. In this session, we will be starting with introduction to SAP S4 HANA and EWM. In this session, we will try to understand what is SAP, different products of SAP, all that understanding we will have in this session. Right. So let's start with this one. So here we are, as we know that there are a number of software companies. Well-known software companies are Microsoft, right? Similarly, SAP. SAP is also a software company. Okay, it's a company name. Normally we say Microsoft Office. Microsoft is a company, Office is a product, right? So similarly, Microsoft Dynamics, or Microsoft is a company, Dynamics is a ERP product. So in SAP, SAP is also a company, and SAP stands for systems, applications, and products in data processing. So this is the name of the company. So like if we compare SAP with Microsoft, Microsoft offers different products like Microsoft Office, Microsoft 365, Microsoft Dynamics, and some cloud products as well. So similarly, SAP also offers a number of business applications. So in general, we term it as business applications or business software. But in SAP terms, it is called as business suite. Okay, so which are nothing but business softwares, right, or products. So it offers like SAP S4 HANA. So this is the latest SAP product. This is the latest SAP product. SAP S4 HANA was launched in February 2015, right? Oh, sorry, November 2015. So they launched in S4 HANA was launched in November 2015. Then every year they released a new version. Like the first version was 15.11, then 16.10. So as you can see here, 15 represents year and 11 represents month. So similarly 16.10, 17.09, 18.09, and 19.09. So 1909 means it was in September 2019, and then from 2020 they just start mentioning only year number. So like SAP S4 HANA 2020, and a few months ago they released 2021 out. So this 2021 is still under testing. So I'm going to offer our training in our by using the latest SAP latest version of SAP S4 HANA, that is SAP S4 HANA 2020. So unlike MMSD, in EWM we will be using S4 HANA as well as ECC, because here we have different deployment options like embedded and decentralized that we will be discussing in detail. Okay, so unlike MM and SD, EWM consultants or in the training, they get more exposure, right? So yeah, so this is about SAP S4 HANA. So before launching SAP S4 HANA, they also launched SAP ERP or ECC. Okay, after launching SAP S4 HANA, SAP company stopped implementation of SAP ECC. And by 2028, SAP company is going to stop support for ECC, so that all existing clients will migrate to S4 HANA and all new clients will implement only SAP S4 HANA. Okay, so so this is the the current update we have. And in SAP ECC 6.0, they launched EHP1, and the later and the last one was EHP8, right? And this S4 HANA, it is also called as SAP S4 HANA Enterprise Management. And ECC is called as, why it is called as ECC? Because the full form of ECC is ERP Central Component. That is the full form of ECC. And ERP is a generic term to express enterprise resource planning. So what is enterprise resource planning? That we will be discussing in detail in today's session. So these two business suite we just discussed. Similarly, like SAP SCM, which is nothing but supply chain management. So before launching SAP S4 HANA, EWM module, extended warehouse management module, was available only in SAP SCM. It was not available in ECC. However, after launching SAP S4 HANA, they also included EWM in S4 HANA as embedded module, right? So now we can say that EWM module is available in SCM as well as in S4 HANA. So when we are using EWM in S4 HANA, it is called as embedded EWM. If we are using EWM in SCM, then it is called as decentralized. So what is embedded, decentralized? We will be discussing in detail. This is just highlighting important point. So similarly, SAP SCM, they have different releases. Okay, so different releases like from SAP EWM 9.5, then the latest one is 9.6 up to 9.6. So similarly, you might have heard like SAP SRM, which stands for supplier relationship management, CRM, customer relationship management, SAP Ariba sourcing and procurement. So this is SAP Ariba is a procurement tool. Like we can compare it with Okay, like procurement, is for procurement department. So and then similarly, SAP PLM, product lifecycle management, SAP IS, so which is industry specific. Like as for different industries, requirements varies. So for SAP IS retail, SAP IS oil and gas, pharmaceutical, construction, right? So when it comes to EWM, if we compare with EWM, because the requirement for different industries for varies. For retail, it is different. Oil and gas, different, slightly different. Construction. But when it comes to EWM, it's all about warehouse management. For all industries, we will be managing the inventory in EWM. Okay, so that is the reason why when we compare with for they ask like whether you work in retail industry or in manufacturing industry or in pharmaceutical. But when it comes to EWM, in all industries, EWM is used for the same purpose and almost same functionalities. So that is the reason why we don't get that kind of questions in, right? And similarly PLS, and these are I have listed out few of SAP Business Suite or SAP products. So these are so as a EWM consultant or SAP consultant, we must be aware of all these business suite or products. That is the reason why these are being highlighted. And here, let's first of all, because we will come across, as you can see here, in every organization, a number of departments are there, right? And these departments varies industry to industry. For example, in manufacturing industry, we have manufacturing department or production department, but in retail industry or trading industry, we don't have manufacturing or the production department. So department varies from industry to industry. So SAP offers modules for each department. For example, for procurement, we have materials management module. For manufacturing, production planning module. For sales and distribution module. Finance and account, FICO module. And for HR department, HCM, and the latest one is success factor. So these, and similarly for warehouse management, EWM module, and for transport management, TM module, we have different modules. Okay, so for each department, different modules. So we will be focusing on supply chain management module, that is EWM. Okay, so this is all our training is all about EWM. So if we look at history of SAP, SAP has been offering its services or business applications from 1973. So they first launched R1, then in 1972 R2, then R3. So well-known SAP business suites are R3, ECC, S4 HANA, and SCM, right? So this is the history of, right, and you can see in 2004, they launched ERP, that is ECC, this one. And then in 2015, they launched S4 HANA. This is the latest one. So SAP is, including all functionalities and technologies in these business suites, right? So the SAP S4 HANA is compatible with cloud technology, data analytics, machine learning. That is the reason why SAP is now leading ERP software, and it controls more than 75% of the market share. So it means globally, if we look at globally, medium and large companies, if we take, so 70%, 75% of these companies are using SAP. The rest of 25% are using other business suites like Microsoft Dynamics, for example, you see here, other companies also offers ERP software, like SAP offers SAP S4 HANA, SAP ECC, Oracle offers Oracle, Microsoft Dynamics offers Microsoft Dynamics, and similarly other ERP softwares which are available like PeopleSoft, JD Edwards, BAN. So we can say that from Oracle to Bin, so only these business suites are used only in 25% of the companies. So and rest of 70% companies are using either ECC or S4 HANA. Since ECC is going to be obsolete by 2028, so existing clients which are using ECC, they are migrating to S4 HANA, and all new clients they are implementing S4 HANA directly. Okay. So now we try to understand ERP, because as SAP consultant, we will come across this term more frequently. So we should have good understanding of this term. All right. And another important point, as a SAP consultant, even in interviews, nobody is going to ask us the definition. Okay. So even in interviews, they just try to check our understanding about SAP, its functionalities and logic behind it. So that should be our focus. Okay. So let's try to understand the term enterprise resource planning, which is nothing but ERP. So enterprise resource planning is the integrated management of main business processes, often in real time and mediated by software and technology. For example, let's say, look at this one. Let's say you are working for a company, right? And if we have different departments, and if these departments are not integrated or connected, then of course the communication between these departments will not be flowing smooth. Because for example, let's say sales department got one order. Let's say we are working for Tata Motors. Assume Tata Motors got 100 bus orders from any state department, like in our Karnataka, we have Karnataka State Transport, similarly Maharashtra and Telangana and all. Let's say that state government ordered for 100 buses. So the sales department of the Tata Motors got the order of 100 buses, right? And then based on this order, production department should be manufacturing these 100 buses. And in order to manufacture these 100 buses, as per a bill of material, whatever, for example, to make a bus, they required the engine, chassis, wheels, steering wheel, dashboard, all those required, which are nothing but components. So these components will be procured by the procurement department, right? And once these procurement they procure, these components are stored in warehouse, again supplied to production for manufacturing, and after production, finished products are again come back, are stored in warehouse. So these departments are connected with each other. So we should be, so that is the reason why we should be using a software which is connected with them. Let's say if you see here, enterprise without an ERP. If we are not using any ERP software, what will happen? So the communication between departments will not be smooth. If we are using,
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, what exactly is procurement, sir?
Procurement is nothing but related to, in general term, we say purchasing.
Okay, purchase.
Okay, purchase, procurement. Okay, it's a good question. And I really appreciate all participants if they ask questions, because this is all about making career. This is not just the training, right? And you will, if you want to get best of the training, you want to skill yourself and want to enter into SAP domain as soon as possible, then you need to make sure that you will be asking questions, you will be communicating during the training. Okay, right. So right. Yeah, so as you can see here, if a company is not using ERP software, what will happen to them? If they are using ERP software, for example, one of the ERP software which is offered by SAP is ECC or S4 HANA. You see, we have SAP, which is, connecting with different departments, and the information flow is very smooth. Right. So this is the concept of ERP, enterprise resource planning, which is a very generic term. Okay, so as you can see, ERP provides an integrated, try to understand these terms. Integrated means they are like linked together. Right. So ERP provides an integrated and continuous updated view of core business processes using common database. As you can see here, we have common database here. For example, what happened? Let's assume, let me give you one example with this infographics so that you will have more clarity. And simple example I'm going to take, and I need input from participants to make our session interactive and more effective. Okay, so here, let me take this example in our warehouse management itself. Right, look at this flow. Simple example I'm going to take. Let's say we are working for a chair manufacturing company, and our company got 100 chair order from a corporate, right, corporate company. The sales department is responsible to generate sales. So sales department brought sales of 100 chairs, right? So then after bringing this order, who is responsible to produce? Anyone?
The purchase department will have to take care of, procurement, all the raw materials, and to provide to the production department to produce.
Right. So my question is, once the sales department got the order, then next step is to make chairs, right? To make chair, who is responsible, or which department is responsible?
The production department?
Production department is responsible. So production department is responsible. So what will happen? Production department creates or maintain bill of material. So bill of material contains all the components which are required to make a chair. So what in bill of material, what do you think, what components they will list out? Like cushions for the chairs, handrests, and then these wheels, right? In order to make chair, these components are required. Am I right?
Yes.
Right. So these components are required. So they maintain list of these components as a bill of material. So what happened? This production department, I think my voice is echoing. So I think Mr. Feroz, can you please mute, because my voice is echoing there. Right. So what happened? You see here, what we need to understand. Sales department got the 100 chairs order. So in order to make 100 chairs, let's say for each chair, 2 cushions, 2 handrests, and 4 wheels are required. So for 100 chairs, how much we required? 2 into 100, it is 200 chairs. 200 cushions, 200 handrests, and 4 into 100, 400 wheels we required. So they make a bill of material, and based on bill of material, they request to purchasing department to buy these components, because to make chairs, right? So what happened? So the production department creates purchase request, the purchase request, right? PR. So this purchase request is submitted to purchase department. So the purchase department take that request and buy those components from different suppliers, and then after buying, right? So the purchase department issues purchase order to supplier. Supplier will deliver, and those whatever they deliver, these components and raw materials, those are stored in our warehouse. Okay, and as soon as those components are stored here after receiving from supplier, production department, as per production planning and schedule, they take these components and then make chips. And after making chips, again they store in our warehouse. So what happened? So the sales department will deliver this finished product to the customer. So you see, this is how companies work. This is how the business processes works in any company, right? So here, what we need to understand the role of each department, and to make job of each department more efficient and automated, we use SAP modules. So for example, for to make our warehouse management more efficient and automated, companies use EWM. So similarly, in for the procurement department, we have MM module. For sales department, we have SD module. For production, we have production planning. Similarly, for quality management, for transport management, and to look after all debit, credit, financial transactions, for accounts and finance, we have FIC modules. And similarly, a number of other modules are available. So now I believe you people might have got some idea of significance of these modules, why these modules are used. So any question related to how this works or whatever I discussed, or I believe this is clear, right? What I was trying to emphasize. Right. So as you can see here, under logistics execution, how different modules and different departments are connected with each other. Here, procurement department, this color, as you can see here, arrow down. This is the procurement department. This is the sales department we have, and then we have the logistics execution, and then all. So, right now, let's go back to our PDF. This is what we were discussing about ERP. So that is about ERP, enterprise resource planning. And now let's try to understand another term which is also very commonly used, that is business process or business processes. Okay, so what is this term? So we are just discussing very basic terms which we are going to use frequently. So we should be familiar with these terms. So what is business process? For example, let's take one example again here. So business process is for every department, there is a business process. For every department, there is a business process. For example, let me take one example here. Right. Look at this one, make to stock scenario. Make to stock scenario here, it's like products are being produced as per customer order. So that is the make to stock means we are manufacturing to stock the product. Similarly, we have make to order scenario where we are manufacturing based on the customer order. So now if we take this example here, in this make to order scenario, we have involvement of different departments. We have involvement of different departments. So if in every department, there is a business process. So for example, in procurement department, the business process starts as soon as they receive purchase requisition from the requesting department. Okay, and then based on purchase requisition, they create purchase order, and based on purchase order, supplier delivers goods, so they post good receipt, and then invoice customer vendor invoice is verified so that the vendor will be paid. So for every department and for every department we are using module. So in every module we have a business process. Okay. For example, simple example you see here. As soon as we receive purchase requisition from this production department, then the next step is purchase order. Then the third step is good receipt, invoice receipt, right, and outgoing payment. So this is nothing but procure to pay cycle in MMO. This is one business process. Similarly, from PP point of view, the business process or plan to production cycle starts from from this planning, then planned order, a production order, then all these steps will come into picture. And when it comes to sales, it starts from like some after they carry out some pre-sales activities like um, um, uh, getting inquiries from supplier, then submitting quotation, then once they accept quotations, suppliers issue purchase order, and with reference to the supplier's purchase order, sales order is created, and then with reference to sales order, products are delivered to the customer and then billed to the customer, and then incoming payment from customer. Like you see, from sales point of view, it's an incoming payment because here we will be receiving payment from customer, and then here it is outgoing payment, which is vendor. So from EWM point of view, whenever you see inventory or good receipt or good issue, here EWM comes into picture. Because yes, you can see here we just use this flow to understand role of EWM. And the another term which is commonly used is supply chain management. Supply chain management. For example, from this point of view, let's say we are working for a manufacturing company, and assume it's a Pepsi company, assume, right? In order to make a cold drink, right, or let's say Lay's chips. So what manufacturer Pepsi required, because Lay's chips is a Pepsi product. In order to make Lay's chips, what are the ingredients required? Anyone?
Potatoes, salt, and plastics for packaging.
Right.
Nitrogen.
Yes, right, of course, right. So these ingredients are required. So what happened, this Pepsi, which is a manufacturer, it gets all these ingredients from supplier, then it makes Lay's chip, and then this and deliver to distributor, retailer, and shopper. So from Pepsi point of view, this is the supply chain management, from getting raw materials and then delivering to the customer. So this is the supply chain management for Pepsi. Similarly, if we take the example of another example, so the flow, meaning supply chain management starts from getting raw material and it ends when finished product is delivered to the customer. So that is the meaning of supply chain management. Okay. So I believe you people got the idea of what is ERP, then business process, supply chain management, because we as SAP consultant, we will be interacting with business users, and business users, they use these terms very frequently. Right. Any question? So this is about ERP, then business process. Right. So I think most of you have already received one book with containing these topics. The participants who have not received, I'm going to share with them this one. So during training, you don't need to make any notes. You just need to focus and try to understand, right? And after training, anyway, you already received the books. You can refer to the same thing. Whatever I'm sharing, during the session, the same topics you already have in the books. And after session, in 1 or 2 hours, you will also receive recordings. You also receive recordings. Okay. So you don't need to make any notes during session. Right. So we discussed about SAP and some other terms, right? So now let's discuss about SAP S4 HANA. Now we will be discussing briefly. This is because this is our first session. As and when required, we will discuss in detail all of these. So yeah, so now we are discussing about SAP S4 HANA, which is nothing but SAP S4 HANA Enterprise Management. So as we know, SAP is a company. So this is application or product or software. So meaning all these are synonyms which are being used. So we can say like a application, product, or we say like business application or software product or software. So which is nothing but the full name is SAP S4 S4. The SAP S4 stands for SAP Business Suite, which is a 4th generation of SAP Business Suite. Why it is called as 4th generation? Let me tell you here. Because R2 is called as 1st generation, R3 is called as 2nd generation, ECC is 3rd generation, and S4 HANA is 4th generation. Okay, this is 4th generation, the latest one. Like, you know, we have even in Intel, right? Intel 4th generation, 5th generation. Now I think it's a 10th generation, right? Or 11th generation. So similarly here, right? And here S4 stands for Business Suite 4, all right? And HANA stands for High Performance Analytical Appliance. All right. So here application is SAP Business Suite, and the database is HANA, which is High Performance Analytical Appliance. This is just the descriptions we have. Okay, nothing. So SAP S4 HANA was launched in February 2015, right? And if we look at, as you can see here, this SAP S4 HANA offers innovations for Internet of Things, right? So it is it is compatible with big data, business networks, mobile, right? And all with all the latest technology. That is the reason why SAP is ERP software. Okay, and if we look at features of S4 HANA here, it is in memory computing. So I'm highlighting only important point, and as and when required, I will later on I will explain what is in memory computing and all. So this is just brief I'm taking you through. So in memory computing, right? So what is this in memory? Because these features were not available in ECC. That is the reason why S4 HANA is more successful. So in memory computing, data is stored directly in RAM as well as in hard disk. So in ECC, it was not possible to store in RAM. So if the data is stored in RAM, as we know, it is very fast. We can, we can access data very fast. So SAP S4 HANA runs on in-memory database. SAP HANA runs on multi-core CPUs with fast. So as we progress, we will have more clarity about these points. Then it is a column based. In ECC it was row based. Okay, and then here we have multi-core processors, right? Then parallel processing, powerful calculation engine, right? All that features we have in S4 HANA, which were missing in ECC, right? So, and here it is a real-time reports we get in S4 HANA, and new functions are added and so many things. And so if we look at the benefits for the companies which are using SAP S4 HANA, and SAP is the most expensive business software compared to other business softwares. It's like a double, all right? So, but companies are still using it, and it is leading because it is more user friendly, compatible with technologies and all. That is the reason why it is more successful. So it is anytime and anywhere, because after SAP S4 HANA, they also launched another user interface, that is Fiori app, which was not available in ECC. So only graphical user interface was available. All that we will be discussing one by one. You see here in our next session, we will discuss about graphical user interface, Fiori app, and all. This today's session is all about just important points, right? So, and then reduce capital requirements and all. And if we see, there is a slight change in terminology as well. So in ECC, we call it as like MM. In S4 HANA, the same thing, it is MM, and it is also called as sourcing and procurement. Okay, so right, so so there is a slight change in terminology that will come. And if you look at different versions and releases, so 15.11 version 000 was released, and if we look at the latest one, 2021, it is 106 release we have. Okay. So this is brief about S4 HANA we have, and there are 3 deployment options which are available. One is on premise, meaning here companies, they can buy the license, they can set up their own IT infrastructures, right? So in their IT infrastructure, they set up their own servers, right? So they have their own setup, then it is called as on premise. Otherwise, they can also go with cloud, because SAP provides cloud services where companies, they don't need to set up their own IT infrastructure, they can use the cloud services. And similarly, hybrid one, which is a combination of on-premise and cloud. Okay, on-premise and cloud. So this is brief about SAP S4 HANA, which is the latest one. Now, as we know, S4 HANA, ECC, R3, and SCM, these are very common. So let's familiarize ourselves. Now, ECC. So as we know, company is SAP, right? And the application or product ECC. ECC stands for ERP Central Component. Okay, so ERP is central component, right? And in ECC, only like as I said, EWM was not available in ECC. It was available only in SCM, but in S4 HANA, EWM is included as embedded one. All right. So these are the modules which are available in ECC. So now let's compare these. And now I'm going to show you in using a remote desktop. I will show you SAP S4 HANA and here ECC, so that we can compare. Okay, for comparison purpose, I'm going to show you that one. So here we have, and you people also get access to these servers. Now I'm connecting to SAP S4 HANA through remote desktop. This is the remote desktop we have. Right now, let me log in to SAP S4 HANA 2020. Can you see here? You will have access to SAP ECC, SAP S4 HANA 1610, 1909, 2020, and separately to other one as well. Through here, we will have another server of decentralized embedded one, where you will have access to ECC and SCM. Okay, so all that we will see. Now, let me open here this ECC here. All right, now in this one, right. So let me in extras, do one thing, put and right. So what is this? This is user, graphical user interface that we will be discussing here. What I'm just trying to show you one important point. Under logistics in ECC, only these modules are available like MM, SD, PP, and all. But if we look at S4 HANA, in S4 HANA, they have included EWM and other modules. So this is our S4 HANA I'm entering. Okay. Right. So if you look at under logistics, can you see here? This is ECC we have, and this one is S4 HANA, right? Based on template, we can change the look and feel of S4 HANA as well. But here I'm just trying to show you the main differences. You see, in S4 HANA, they have added this module, equipment and tools management. MM is already there, but governance and risk they have added. In SCM, they have added EWM, but EWM was not available in ECC here. They also added transport management and some other modules.
Everything, including like accounting and all, also it's there in that, sir. In S4 HANA.
Counting.
Yeah. Account management.
Yeah, that is.
Logistics.
Yeah, you see here in accounts here, this is an accounting they have.
Yes, yes.
So even in accounting, they have added some more modules in accounting. You see, in ECC, only these were there, accounting modules, but in S4 HANA, they added some more modules, I believe, here. And like investment management, another module they have added, right? And then other, right? So
Yes.
these are accounting modules. And then in logistics module, we have these ones.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, in S4 HANA, EWM is included. Okay. So
As a embedded module.
Okay. So what is SCM then?
SCM, they have, yeah, good question. So these are the modules, okay? And here, look at this document which I was showing here in SAP Business Suite. Yeah, here. You see here, in these business suites or applications, we have modules, okay? So SAP S4 HANA is a product or business application. In this one, we have different modules which I am trying to show you here. Okay, so similarly in ECC, we have different modules which I'm trying to show you here, right? And now to answer your question, this one SCM. This SCM is also a business suite. In this SCM, we have EWM, transport management, advanced planning, right? And then some other modules, but we don't have MM and other things here. All right. Now let me open for you SAP SCM here. If I open, you see only these modules are available. Right? Can you see here? We have EWM, SCM EWM, then SAP transport management, then event management. You don't see MM, SD, and other modules. Okay, I believe that answered your question, Atif.
Yeah, I got it. Thanks, sir.
Yeah. So, so as you can see here, now I have opened 3 servers. One is, this is SCM server I have opened, and another one, this is ECC server I have opened. This is left side is this is ECC, this is SCM. Okay, as you see in ECC we have MM, SD, and all, but in see here in logistics we have materials management, sales and distribution, logistics, PP, and all. But in SCM, we have only limited modules like transport management, EWM, and then event management, and then relate some accounting. That's all. Not all accounting modules which are available. And now, if you see S4 HANA, it's like an advanced version of ECC. And in S4 HANA, EWM is also included as embedded one after 1610 version onwards. Okay, so you people will be getting access to all these ones because we will be using them. Right. Right. So, all right. Now we were discussing about. We discussed about ECC, and we compared both them. And then similarly, R3 is very old business suite, right? So nobody is using nowadays this one, but R3 stands for real-time systems with three-tier architecture. So what is system architecture and all that we will be discussing, right? So that is the SAP Business Application R3. So if we look at generation of this one, so we have more clarity. All right, so here, right, so R2 was called first generation, R3 second generation, ECC third generation, S4 HANA is a fourth generation, right? Like in Intel we have, right, i3, i5, first generation, second generation. This is how in SAP also we have SAP generation shift. So if you look at in which year it was launched, generation, then system architecture, database. And another important point, in SAP S4 HANA, only HANA database is used. However, in other business suite like in ECC and R3, it was possible to use any database. But in SAP S4 HANA, only HANA database is used. That is the reason why it is called as SAP S4 HANA. Okay, so this is about SAP and its modules, history, some terms that I wanted to highlight, and then what else we have. Right now, what I'm going to do is, as we just discussed about SAP Business Suites, R3, ECC, S4 HANA, SCM, SRM, then Ariba, and all. Now we will be discussing brief about EWM. Then from tomorrow onwards, we will start with user interfaces and all. We will start using SAP from tomorrow onwards. Right. So EWM now let me take you to one infographics or better understanding. Right. So now look at this one. EWM landscape. Right. So you see in ECC, EWM was not available. So it means before 2015, if companies wanted to use EWM, they need to buy two licenses. One for their ECC, in which they will be using MMSD, FICO, and all, and another for SCM. In SCM, they will be using EWM. So in that case, it is called as decentralized, because you see here we have one SAP ERP system and one SAP SCM system. In SAP S system, we will be using EWM. Like this case here, if you look at this one, I'm using ECC and SCM, and this is how it looks like. This is one ECC system and another one is SCM system. If we are using this kind of setup in our company, then it is called as decentralized. Two systems, SAP EWM on SCM server. Okay, so this is decentralized. But after launching SAP S4 HANA, EWM is included in S4 HANA. So it is called as embedded one. So it looks like this one. Can you see here three examples? One is decentralized EWM connected to ECC. One ECC system, one SCM system. This is called as decentralized EWM connected to EC. And the example is here. This is ECC system. This is SCM system. Two systems. Another one, decentralized EWM connected to S4 HANA. One separate S4 HANA system, one separate EWM system. This is also called as decentralized. But the embedded one, meaning within S4 HANA, EWM is included as embedded one. Okay. So based on the business requirements, companies, they can go with decentralized, they can go with the embedded one as per business requirement. And yeah.
Sir, embedded one is the latest what we are using right now in EWM.
So actually, in the latest one is embedded, as well as the latest one is decentralized EWM connected to S4 HANA, both.
Okay.
Okay. Before launching S4 HANA, the only option which was available is decentralized EWM connected to ECC.
Okay.
And in my training, I'm going to cover all three, so that participants will get good exposure. Okay. So all three will be covered in our training. Okay. Right. So this is EWM. So EWM is all about what we need to, is all about how efficiently we can manage inventory. For example, let me show you one video for good understanding. Okay. Let's look at to understand significance of warehouse management by using EWM. Okay. So now let's look at Amazon Fulfillment Center. I'm going to show you one video of Amazon Fulfillment Center. Amazon Fulfillment Center videos, if you look at, so there is a NDTV video, which YouTube. Yeah, let me show you this one. And in case if voice is not clear, please let me know. Okay. So for this,
happens pretty frequently.
this video voice is clear, right?
Yes, yes.
Right. Now, please carefully watch this video, and after video, I'm going to highlight some important points.
We can't hear the voice.
Voice is not clear?